The council's rejection of his family shattered Chad's trust. Once, he revered their wisdom, believing they safeguarded Argob's survival on its barren moon. Now, stripped of his role and cast into obscurity, he saw their truth, a regime fueled by fear, wielding control with a vengeful fist. As an outcast, Chad's eyes opened to what he'd once ignored. In maintenance tunnels, he caught snatches of council whispers, cryptic talk of a Krasley threat and chilling mentions of eradication. Hashem and his allies no longer spoke of the Kras as kin or primitives but as enemies to be crushed. One evening, while repairing a dome's conduits, Chad overheard two workers near a service hatch. "Hashem's pushing for military action," one muttered. "Says it's inevitable." "The Kras don't even know we're here," the other countered, uneasy. "Why strike?" "It's preemptive," the first said. "Hashem calls it survival." Chad's gut twisted. The council's plans weren't just harsh. They were genocidal. That night, Chad returned home, his unease a heavy shroud. Ayatu sat cross-legged on the floor, Kale and Lyra curled beside her, their soft breaths a contrast to the tension in her face. The dim glow of a lamp traced lines of exhaustion etched into her features. "You're late," she said, her voice gentle but probing. Work dragged on, Chad mumbled, sinking into a chair. Ayatu's sharp eyes studied him. "What's wrong?" He hesitated, then leaned forward, voice low. "I overheard workers talking. Hashem's planning a preemptive strike against Krasley. They're framing it as survival, but it's fear, pure fear." Ayatu's gaze darkened, her hand brushing Kale's hair protectively. "Against my people." Chad nodded grimly. "Your kin don't even know Argob exists. This isn't defense, it's slaughter." Ayatu's eyes drifted to the twins, her voice soft but heavy. "They'll never accept us, Chad. Not you, not me, not them." She nodded at Kale and Lyra. "But this is bigger than us now." "I know," Chad said, his weariness palpable. "We're barely surviving as it is." "It's not just about survival," Ayatu countered, her tone resolute. "If the council attacks Krasley, my people, jungle dwellers, innocent, won't stand a chance." "And what then for Kale and Lyra? They're already outcasts. How long before Hashem brands them threats, too?" Her words struck like a spark. Chad had spent years observing, enduring, but passivity was no longer an option. "We need proof," he said, his mind racing. "Something undeniable to expose Hashem's plans to the Argobians." "It'll be dangerous," Ayatu warned, her eyes fierce. "They'll hunt us, and the twins." Chad took her hand, his grip steady. "We'll protect them. Whatever it takes." Ayatu's expression softened, a flicker of hope in her gaze. "Together," she said. The next day, Kubel arrived, his usual calm frayed by urgency. He paced their cramped quarters, his voice low. "Hashem's accelerating plans for Krasley. He's selling a military strike as a safeguard, a preemptive purge." Ayatu crossed her arms, her gaze piercing. "And you believe him?" Kubel stopped, meeting her eyes. "He's a fool. The Kras aren't a threat, never were. This is about power." Hashem stoking fear to tighten his grip. Chad's jaw tightened. "We need evidence to stop him, something to sway the public." "That's a deadly game," Kubel cautioned. "Hashem's spies are everywhere. One misstep." "We have no choice," Ayatu cut in, her voice unwavering. "If we don't act, my people die. Then our children. You've seen how they treat Kale and Lyra, do you think they'll spare them?" Kubel exhaled, running a hand through his hair. "You're right. I'm in. But we need to be clever. Hard proof, documents, recordings, something the council can't deny." Chad clasped Kubel's shoulder, gratitude in his tired eyes. "Thank you, my friend. We need you." Kubil's nod was firm, resolve hardening his features. Let's do this. As Chad, Ayatu, and Kubel plotted in whispers, Argob stood at a precipice. Hashem's rhetoric fanned the flames of war, threatening not just Krasli but Argob's own soul. Dissent simmered beneath the surface, a quiet rebellion waiting for a spark. For Chad and Ayatu, the stakes were existential. Their love, their twins, and the fate of two worlds hung in a delicate balance. They could no longer stand by, they had to act, no matter the cost.